Hello and welcome to the 2019 Summer Iowa Games Preview Show. I'm Rod Botholt. Today we'll get you ready for Iowa's largest amateur sports festival and tell you how you can get involved. We'll be joined by former Iowa Hawkeye and NFL quarterback Chuck Long, who is the CEO and Executive Director of the Iowa Sports Foundation. Chuck will give us a preview of the 2019 Summer Iowa Games presented by Grinnell Mutual. 1987 was the first ever Iowa Games held by the Iowa Sports Foundation. There were 7,000 athletes taking part in 16 sports. This year, the Iowa Games is now proud to offer more than 50 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. This summer, we will celebrate sports, competition, passion, and athletes from all corners of the state of Iowa. It's become a summertime tradition and one that all Iowans can be proud of. When we return, we'll learn more about the Summer Iowa Games. Stay with us.
Tomorrow, some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to a Grinnell Mutual agent today.
Connecting every device, every room, and everyone. That's the power of Extreme. And it keeps getting better with a new multi-point Wi-Fi system that covers your whole home. So you get insanely fast speeds here, here, and here. An all-new standard of technology that makes every TV smarter. And new ways for you to connect with us, like being able to see when your tech will arrive. Technology is awesome. We take it to the extreme.
One day, I'm going to make my mark managing huge construction projects, like stadiums. I'm even willing to do my own research on Saturdays.
Yes, Bobby!
Welcome back to the Summer Iowa Games Preview Show. We are joined now by Iowa Sports Foundation CEO and Executive Director Chuck Long, who will give us more insight into the Summer Iowa Games. And Chuck, you and your crew have another exciting agenda set for us. Talk a little bit about what's coming up for this year's Summer Iowa Games.
Well, thanks, Rod. It's great to be on the show. And the Summer Iowa Games continue to be a tradition for many of Iowa's amateur athletes. The game used to be in one weekend in the summer, but this year we will have events taking place in May, June, July, and August. Our three main weekends are in July, with the first weekend being July 13 and 14, followed by the main weekend, July 17 to 21, and our third and final weekend, July 26 through 28. Events are held in Ames, Des Moines area, and surrounding communities.
Chuck, one of the reasons that the Iowa Games is always successful is you have those traditional sports where you're going to get a lot of participants, a lot of spectators as well, but there's always something new also. What is new on the Iowa Games agenda for this summer?
As you mentioned, Rod, we have the traditional sports, but we always want some new sports to keep it fresh. The Iowa Games will offer over 50 sports, and this year we're hoping to reach 13,000 athletes. Our largest team sport is soccer, as always, and individual sports are bowling and track and field. The new sports this year include the Big Fish Classic, which was held May 11th at Rathbun Lake, and a Ninja Warrior competition to be held on July 7th. Some really good ones.
Now the Ninja Warrior, that's an attention getter. We hear about, we see it on TV. Tell us a little bit about what that competition will look like in the Iowa Games.
Well, this competition is similar to what you see on NBC's American Ninja Warrior. The competitors' athletic abilities will be put to the test in a series of obstacles. Ninja U, a new gym in Cedar Falls, will be hosting the event.
Very good. Just when you think there's no more new sports, the Iowa Games find something. That sounds great. Well, we look forward to certainly highlights of that one next year and all that goes on in the Iowa Games. Chuck, thank you, and I know we'll talk to you a little bit later in the show. We're going to take a break right now. When we return, we'll talk to Iowa Games Director Katie Kramer. Stay with us.
Join us in celebration of competition, passion, and athletes at the 2019 Summer Iowa Games this July in Ames. Compete in archery, table tennis, softball, or basketball. With over 50 sports, there's sure to be one for you. Iowans of all ages and abilities are welcome. So bring your A game and maybe even take home the gold at the Summer Iowa Games, presented by Grinnell Mutual. Find more information and register online at iowagames.org.
I think I found my dream car.
It turns out they want me to start next month. She can stay with you to finish her senior year.
Things will be tight, but we can make this work.
Now,
Grandpa, what about your dream car?
this is my dream now.
Principal, we can help you plan for that.
Yes, Bobby!
Welcome back to the Iowa Games Preview Show. If you've ever seen a full list of all the events that happen throughout the Summer Iowa Games, you might wonder how in the world it all gets organized. We are joined now by Iowa Games Director Katie Kramer, who's here to answer that question. Katie, how do you and your crew keep everything running smoothly those weekends?
A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
You know, on top of our staff, we have about 5 interns that we have as well that will come in and help. You know, and there's some days where we're in the office and there's other days where we are out running around like crazy just trying to get everything ready to go. And on top of that, we have about 2,500 volunteers that will help us throughout the course of the games, a lot of those on that main weekend that we have as well. And that could be anywhere from helping with registration to being our sport commissioner or our sport director. You know, they're all volunteers on top of what they do, you know, in their regular day. But they're kind of the experts in the sport, so we really lean on them to help. And then couldn't do it without our sponsors as well, who we have. So
a lot of moving parts for those weekends,
yes,
that's for sure.
Absolutely.
When you think about that main weekend of the Iowa Games, how many different venues do you utilize? Because you have a lot of stuff going on in a lot of different places.
Yep, we have roughly about 20 facilities in the Ames area that will be going. There are a few satellite locations for different events that we have. And then there are some facilities that will actually have multiple things going on at one time in that facility on the same day. So, you know, just trying to track all of that can be challenging as well.
You're kind of in a unique position. You grew up in Ames, you've competed in the Iowa Games. What's it like now to be in your chair, so to speak, your spot, helping to run this event?
Yeah, it's very rewarding. You know, growing up, I played in the softball tournament. You know, and when you're a kid, the perspective that you have on the games is very different. You know, I was just kind of stuck in that softball world and didn't really, didn't really realize what else was going on that weekend. I knew it was a busy weekend in town, but now being on this side of it and seeing, you know, everything that's offered, the uniqueness of it, the ages, the ability levels, it's something that's very unique to Iowa, and there's other state games that host it. But being involved now and being able to touch people from all parts of the state, I mean, we get participation from all 99 counties, and getting those people that come back from year to year, and then, you know, working with the volunteers and the staff, it's just super rewarding. You know, knowing all the hard work that goes into that weekend and just all the events in general, and then just seeing how happy people are and the returning people, you know, just coming back from year to year. So they look forward to it every year. So.
And we're approaching a unique time for the Iowa Games in 2021. The Ames, Des Moines area will host the State Games of America, which is an event that's held every 2 years. And so that'll be a big deal coming up, and people who medal qualify for that event. Tell us a little more about that
Correct.
event.
Yep. So I kind of think of it as the Olympics. So as like you said, as those happen every 4 years, this happens every 2 years on the odd year. For 2021, it will be here in Ames, Des Moines area. All Iowans can compete in that. They don't have to qualify, but then out-of-state athletes, if you medal in your state games, you have the opportunity to come compete in that. So on top of the roughly 13,000 athletes that we already get, we're expecting to get about 4,000 to 5,000 out-of-state athletes to compete in that. You know, and that's across the board in all sports that we have. So, and now how Iowa Games is over the course of about 3 weekends in July, we're taking all of that and putting it on one weekend, about a 5-day period at the end of July and then early August as well. So it's going to be a lot pushed into one, but that is kind of what makes it unique and just exciting to gear up for.
Well, you always have a lot on your plate, but with that on the horizon as well, I know you can be very busy. the next few years, but good luck in the next couple of months as you get ready for all the competitions that come up in the Iowa Games. Thanks for joining us today. Stay with us on the Iowa Games Preview Show. We'll be back with Barb Baker of Grinnell Mutual right after this.
Hello window designs. They're tested from -40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and subjected to wind-driven rain. They're even engineered to stop hurricane debris from penetrating your home. All with distinctive style that goes beyond the ordinary. Pella windows and doors. Perfectly beautiful.
And welcome back to the Iowa Games Preview Show. We are joined now by Barb Baker of Grinnell Mutual, the presenting sponsor of the Iowa Games. And Barb, first off, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your sponsorship of the Summer Iowa Games.
Sure, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about Grinnell Mutual. I know you're very community-oriented around Grinnell and also all around the state of Iowa. What is it about the Iowa Games that is special to you folks?
Well, Grinnell Mutual started 110 years ago, and our mission was to support Iowa farmers. And I think we've stuck with that mission, even though the company has expanded. We are very focused on wellness and community wellness type initiatives and health of our employees and also health of the people in the communities that we serve. So it seemed to senior leadership that it would be a good tie for us to become affiliated with the Iowa Summer Games. It touches all of the counties that we touch, and it just seemed to make sense to reinforce that message of health and well-being.
And speaking of connections, there's not only that connection with sponsorship, but also with you as a participant. Talk about how you've been involved in the Iowa Games, because you're a runner, right?
I am a runner. I am a late blooming runner. That was not something that I have grown up doing all of my life, as my friends and family will attest to. But my start at Iowa Games actually was in coaching soccer. And I think there are a lot of people out there who can relate to coaching youth soccer. And I've always been interested in the way that the Iowa Games supports athletes, not just those who win, but just the fun, fair competition. Everything is very organized and well run. And as I turned into a runner, I saw that there were opportunities to compete in a way that really didn't seem very intimidating. There's all levels of athletes, there are all ages of athletes, and so it's pretty easy just to get involved. There are a lot of fun events, there are some that are serious, there are some that are a little harder than others, but just a really nice opportunity for me to meet people and get some exercise on the way.
A lot of people who have competed have memorable moments. Do you have anything that sticks out to you over your years of competing?
There are a lot of different things I think that I've enjoyed about the Iowa Games. I think opening ceremonies, the first time that somebody experiences something like that, it's really like going to the Olympics that you see on TV. It's a really nice event. There are a lot of activities. They introduce the athletes as they come on, and then there's a program to watch. For me personally, I would say my biggest challenge was participating in the duathlon a few years ago. I thought I was a pretty decent runner. Found out I wasn't much of a biker, so I have tried to work a little bit harder on my biking and plan to go back and compete this year and do a little better.
Well, great stories, and congratulations on the competitions, and good luck again competing this year. And thank you, as always, for your sponsorship of the Summer Iowa Games.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we will talk with Chuck Long, the CEO and Executive Director of the Iowa Games. He's going to let us know how you can get involved in this year's competitions.
Bobby!
Welcome back to the show. Chuck, we've talked a lot about how much goes on and how key organization is. What's the best way for people who want to participate to get involved in the Iowa Games? How do they register?
Well, Rod, we do have a website, and our main registration process is through our website, which is iowagames.org. Participants can find sport information, entry fees, deadlines, and online registration on iowagames.org. Participants can also call the Iowa Games at 888-777-8881 for assistance with the registration process.
Coming up next on the Iowa Games Preview Show, we'll take a look at the busiest weekend of the Games, featuring the opening ceremony and the Athlete Jamboree. Stay with us.
University of Iowa Sports Medicine is a community service center. We know you like to keep your body healthy. We also know that that activity level to keep yourself healthy can lead to injury. Our sports medicine experts can provide treatments such as physical therapy, surgery, or something in between. Why go anywhere else other than where the Hawkeyes go to stay on top of their game?
There's no doubt about it. Saving feels great. At Mid-American Energy, we love saving too. Saving the environment by supporting tree planting, which improves air quality. Saving money by investing in wind energy, which keeps rates low. And saving you energy by providing tips to help make your home more energy efficient. Which means you can take those savings and put your energy into having fun. Saving definitely feels great. So does being obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
One of the highlights every year is the Athlete Jamboree and opening ceremony. Chuck is back now to talk about these events, starting with the Athlete Jamboree. And Chuck, tell us a little bit about what is on the schedule of events, what's happening at the Athlete Jamboree.
Well, it's going to be July 19th on a Friday night. It'll start around 5:30 p.m. at Jack Trice Stadium on the south side. And there's going to be plenty of action, Rod. There's going to be vendors there, food trucks, entertainment, games for kids. It's going to be, the parking lot's going to be flooded with a lot of activity. Come on out and join us.
And once the event moves from the parking lot inside then to Jack Trice Stadium for the opening ceremony, you always have a neat keynote speaker. Tell us about who you have on tap to talk to the gang this year.
Well, Rod, we have a special keynote this year. We are pleased to have Aaron Thomas as our speaker this year at opening ceremony. As you may know, Aaron is the son of Ed Thomas, the beloved football coach at Appleton Parkersburg, who was fatally shot in 2009. Aaron is currently the principal and head basketball coach at Appleton Parkersburg, following his father's footsteps as an amazing leader. His story addresses how to deal with adversity and making the most of all opportunities, so we're excited about having Aaron Thomas.
Aaron will have a great message. I'm sure that'll be a special part of a neat evening at Jack Trice Stadium. Thank you, Chuck, and we'll talk to you a little bit later about more information on the Iowa Games. We will return after these Iowa Games highlights to speak with Ty Tomasi, 2018 Iowa Games Marty McCone Female Athlete of the Year.
Yes, Bobby!
And welcome back to the Iowa Games Preview Show, and welcome to Ty Tomasi, a para-triathlete with the Iowa Games. And Ty, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You have an interesting story, the first para-triathlete in the history of the Iowa Games. What was that experience like?
It was a great experience. It was actually my first full-length sprint triathlon that I'd finished. I'd had a few before that, but they were kind of mini triathlons. So it was a great experience to be involved.
Your story is really inspiring. Tell us a little bit about your impairment and then how you came to your journey to Iowa.
Yeah, so I don't think of myself as inspirational. I think of myself as just another athlete with an extra challenge. I was born blind. I weighed 1 pound 9 ounces. I was born very early. And so I have been blind since birth with differing levels of vision. Right now I'm nearly totally blind. And I came to Iowa to work for the state of Iowa, and then I stayed to go to law school, and I continued on in Des Moines here working at Disability Rights Iowa, representing Iowans with disabilities.
You may not think that's inspiring, but that's a pretty cool story. What is, athletics has been obviously part of your growing up and maturing and dealing with your situation. What's a more memorable experience for you in terms of being an athlete?
Oh, I think finishing the Iowa Games triathlon for the first time was a really amazing experience. That was my first experience with the Iowa Games, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit. And I've done a lot of sports, but that was really a great accomplishment. And I'm now moving on to other distances because of it. So I'm training for an Olympic distance triathlon and then a half Ironman in August.
Very cool. And you're going to compete in the Iowa Games again this summer, right?
I'm hoping to, yep.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us today and for sharing your story, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a time out right now. When we return, we'll have more on our Iowa Games Summer Preview Show.
Fair isn't an option, it's a necessity, and we prioritize that with our smart price. It's simple. We gather data from Kelley Blue Book and other sources to do the work for you, so you can trust you get the smartest price possible. And the best part is, it's guaranteed. On top of that, you get to search through Iowa's largest selection of new and pre-driven Hondas and save during the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, exclusively at Smart Honda, Iowa's #1 Honda dealer. Get smart!
Welcome back to the show. Chuck, we're getting close to the end, so we certainly want to remind people one more time how they can participate in the Iowa Games. What's the best way to register?
Well, we have a great website, Rod. By registering for the Iowa Games through our website, iowagames.org, participants can easily find sport information, entry fees, and deadlines. And our phone number, if they want to call the office, is 888-777-8881 is another way to get hold of us.
That's information on how you can participate. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll tell you how you can volunteer for the Summer Iowa Games.
Yes, Bobby!
I love telling stories. I think that's what made my switch to broadcast journalism so easy, because I wanted to put my own stamp on the culture. Maybe one day I'll start my own production company too.
May life give you parties for no reason. And silliness. Staying up to watch the sunrise. Tears, but only of joy. And even in tough times, hope. At Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we want you to know you can count on us to be with you when you need us most, to get you back to living to the fullest, so life can replace worries with smiles. No wonder more Iowans choose Wellmark for their health insurance.
The Iowa Games is a perfect example of an event that would not be possible without volunteers. And Chuck, I know you can always use more volunteers. Tell folks how they can be involved if they want to be a volunteer at the Iowa Games.
As you mentioned, Rod, we couldn't do it without the volunteers. The Summer Iowa Games has about 2,500 volunteers. Volunteers range from our sport commissioners, generic volunteers, and officials and referees. And we are very fortunate to have the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau recruit many of our volunteers.
Very good. So sign up today for the volunteer jobs at the Iowa Games as well. Let's take our final timeout right now on the Iowa Games preview show. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm John Walters. Ames is the home of the Cyclones and so much more.
Join us in celebration of competition, passion, and athletes at the 2019 Summer Iowa Games this July in Ames. Compete in archery, table tennis, softball, or basketball. With over 50 sports, there's sure to be one for you. Iowans of all ages and abilities are welcome. So bring your A game and maybe even take home the gold at the Summer Iowa Games, presented by Grinnell Mutual. Find more information and register online at iowagames.org.
Welcome back to the Iowa Games preview show. As we wrap things up, just one more reminder that the games are coming soon and will offer sports for all ages and abilities. This year, we celebrate sports, competition, passion, and athletes at the 2019 Summer Iowa Games presented by Grinnell Mutual. Visit iowagames.org for more information and register today. Enjoy the games.